And we will begin from verse number 267 of the surah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَنفِقُوا مِنْ طَيِّبَاتِ مَا كَسَبْتُمْ وَمِمَّا أَخْرَجْنَا لَكُمْ مِنَ الْأَرْضِ. O you who have believed, spend from the good things which you have earned, and from that which we have produced for you from the earth. So here we are given further guidelines with regards to spending for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First of all, we are told that, O believers, spend of the good things that you have earned, and also spend from what we produce for you from the earth, meaning spend from the harvest, from your produce, and also spend from the good things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. And this shows us that when we give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to make sure that what we are giving is also something good. Yes, the intention matters, the manner matters, but at the same time, what we give also matters. The intention should be sincere. The manner also should be such that a person does not give it and then later on they're reminding of the favor that they have done. They're not giving in order to be seen by people. And then we see that the object, the items that are being given in charity, or the money that is being given in charity, that should also be tayyib. Min tayyibati ma kasabtum. And tayyib means that it should be clean, it should be good, it should be of good quality, not that it is worthless and useless, that is to be discarded. We learn that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says over here that أَنْفِقُوا مِنْ طَيِّبَاتِ مَا كَسَبْتُمْ, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade the giving of bad quality dates as sadaqah. Why? Because bad quality dates which are not really edible, they're supposed to be discarded. Then the Prophet ﷺ did not allow that such dates be given in charity. And this is how the companions interpreted this ayah. And we see that even when it comes to voluntary charity, then it should be of items that are good. We learned that once a man had brought a bunch of dry and bad dates and he hung them in the mosque for people to eat from. And when the Prophet ﷺ saw that, he actually began hitting that bunch of dates. Why? In order to throw them down, in order to bring them down. And he said that, I wish that the person who gave this charity had given something better than this. Because the one who gave these dry, bad dates will eat dry, bad dates on the day of judgment. So this shows us that what we give is what we will receive. So if we want to receive a good reward from Allah, then what we give should also be good. And what is good? What is tayyib? It is what a person would like for themselves, because this is the standard that we have been given. The Prophet ﷺ said that by the one in whose hand is my soul, a slave cannot truly believe until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. So even when it comes to the destitute, the people who have nothing, even them, give them what you would eat yourself. Give them what you would wear yourself. Don't give them things that are worthless, that are useless, that are supposed to be discarded, that are unusable. And we learn that in the Quran, we are actually encouraged to give from that which we love. لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You can never attain piety until you spend out of that which you love. So this is the first meaning of tayyib. Tayyib meaning good quality, not worthless, not useless. And then secondly, tayyib also applies to that which is lawful. So what you give in charity should actually be from lawful earning. Not that you have stolen some wealth or you have earned it through, unlawful means, through interest, etc., through a bribe, and then you give a portion of that in charity. That a person says, you know what, I'm going to win the lottery, and then whatever money I win, I'm going to give a huge portion of that in charity. This kind of charity is worthless. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is tayyib, as we learn. He is good, and He only accepts that which is tayyib, meaning that which is good and lawful. And if a person earns unlawful unlawful wealth, and from that they give charity, they don't actually get reward. In fact, we learn in a hadith, وَكَانَ إِصْرُهُ عَلَيْهِ, that its sin will be on him. Meaning it is actually sinful to use unlawful money. Even if a person is giving it in charity, it will only increase him in sin. It is not going to bring him any reward whatsoever. So we learn over here that أنفقوا من طيبات ما كسبتم, spend of the good things which you have earned, meaning lawful, good quality, give that to others. ومما أخرجنا لكم من الأرض ولا تيمموا الخبيث منه تنفقون ولستم بآخذيه إلا أن تغمضوا فيه, and do not aim toward the defective therefrom, meaning from your wealth, that which is defective, don't intend to give that to those in need or to those in the way of Allah, spending from that while you would not take it yourself except with closed eyes. إِلَّا أَن تُغْمِضُوا فِيهِ, meaning accepting that would be embarrassing for you, then why would you put someone else in that state, embarrassing them by giving them something that is worthless? And if you were in that position of extreme need, you would only take that defective object out of your extreme necessity, out of your desperation. But still, because you don't like it, you would close your eyes when taking it, because it is so disgusting that you don't even want to look at it. It is so bad that you don't even want to look at it. So when you don't like it for yourself, why would you give that same defective, worthless, bad item to someone else? وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ, and know that Allah is free of need and praiseworthy. What does this mean? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need your charity. You need it for yourself. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is praiseworthy. He is not in need of the praise of those who praise. He is not in need of the worship of those who worship. So He does not benefit from your spending, from your sincerity. He is praiseworthy even without your acts of charity. So what you do for your own benefit. So when you're giving for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then make sure what you're giving is good. And then it is said, الشيطان يعدكم الفقر ويأمركم بالفحشاء. Shaitan threatens you with poverty and orders you to immorality. Meaning, why is it that we hesitate giving in the way of Allah? Why is it that we think about giving what is of poor quality when we're giving to others? Because this is from Shaitan. Shaitan threatens us with poverty. He makes us fear poverty. That, you know what, if you give, and if you give the best of what you have or the good that you have, then you will have nothing left for yourself. وَيَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالْفَحْشَاءِ, He orders you to immorality. And what is fahsha? Fahsha is to be stingy, and it is to give what is not worth taking. It is to give for the purpose of showing off. It is to give and then afterwards remind of favors and hurt the people whom you have given to. So all of this is from Shaitan. So resist that waswasa. Do not fall prey to the waswasa of Shaitan. Rather, give with sincerity, give the best, give with tawakkul, with reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and give with open-heartedness. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look at His promise, وَاللَّهُ يَعِدُكُمْ مَغْفِرَةً مِّنْهُ وَفَضْلًا. While Allah promises you forgiveness from Him and favor, bounty. Meaning when you will give, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you. And when you will give, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you fadl, meaning He will give you even more. Wallahu wasi'un alim. Do you have any doubt? Why do you have doubt? Allah is wasi'. He is all encompassing. His treasures are vast. He is alim. He is ever knowing of your intention, of your sincerity, of your struggle, of your financial condition, of how much you love something, yet you are giving it away for His sake. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that. So the reward that He will give will be even better than what you expect. So we learn over here that when it comes to giving charity, then Shaitan does not like that for us at all. In fact, Shaitan stops us actively by giving waswasa to us and by putting negative thoughts in our minds about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or about the future. And this is where we become stingy or selfish, or we become hesitant, or our intention gets corrupt. So, and we also learn from this is that because giving charity is so beneficial, giving charity is so rewardable, this is why shaitan does not want us to give charity. Because shaitan is our enemy, and an enemy does not want you to succeed. An enemy does not want you to gain any benefit. So this is the reason why shaitan does not want us to give charity at all. In a narration, we learn that when a person goes out to give sadaqah, then he actually breaks the jaws of 70 shayateen, 70 devils. Meaning, meaning when you're going to give charity, then it is as though 70 shayateen are coming to stop you. One comes with one waswasa, another comes with another waswasa, another tries one thing to stop you, another shaitan comes, and tries another thing to prevent you. So giving charity is a big deal. And this shows us how beneficial, how rewardable this deed is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يُؤْتِ الْحِكْمَةَ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives wisdom to whomsoever He wills. And what is wisdom? Wisdom is not just intelligence. It is not just, farsightedness. Wisdom is actually knowledge. It is al-ilmu bid-deen. It is the understanding, the knowledge of the religion. Or as Ibn Abbas interpreted, al-fiqhu fil Quran. It is to understand the Quran. So when a person has knowledge, when a person has understanding, then they know what they're supposed to do. With knowledge, your confidence increases. With knowledge, you have clarity. And with knowledge, you are actually able to do something good. And then hikmah has also been interpreted as khashiyah, the fear of Allah. Why? Because when a person has fear of Allah, then that fear of Allah is greater than the fear of poverty. So this is what brings him the courage to spend. And hikmah is also sound judgment, good judgment, because sometimes it happens that a person knows that they should give, they want to give, but they're not able to make that decision. They're not able to carry that out. They have that intention, they have that desire that, yes, I also want to give charity, but then that desire, that intention never really translates into action. Why? Because a person lacks the ability to be decisive, to put their trust in Allah and take action. So yu'til hikmata man yasha. Allah gives wisdom to whomsoever He wills. And this means that we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for wisdom. That, Ya Allah, give me knowledge. Ya Allah, give me understanding. Give me comprehension. Give me the ability to see which, where I should spend my money, how I should manage my money, my resources, so that I can fulfill my needs. I can fulfill, the needs of my family. I can fulfill my responsibilities, and at the same time, I can also give in your cause. And give me the ability to diversify my charity. So yu'til hikmata man yasha. Give me the ability to actually give charity. Not that I'm just, dreaming about it, wishing that I will give charity eventually once upon a time, but that I actually give sadaqah. So yu'til hikmata man yasha wa man yu'tal hikmata faqad utiya khayran kathira. And whoever is given wisdom, then such a person has certainly been given much good. Why? Because with that wisdom now, they're able to see different avenues of khair, different ways in which they can do good. And they find different opportunities. They avail those opportunities, so they increase in their rewards. وَمَنْ يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. I remember listening to a story about a woman who was extremely poor, who basically had just enough bread flour to be able to make enough bread for her children every day. And what she did in order to give charity is that from the bread that she would make for each of her children, she would take just a little bit. And then with that little bit, she would manage to make an extra piece of bread, and she would give that to the poor. Now, this is hikmah, right? That a person doesn't just think that, oh, poor me, that I am not, able to do anything because I don't even have enough food for myself. But when a person has hikmah, they're able to, come out of that self-pity. They become eager to do good. They find ways of doing good. So whoever is given wisdom, he is given a lot of good. So ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for hikmah. وَمَا يَذَّكَّرُ إِلَّا أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. And none will remember except those of understanding, the people of intelligence. So remember that hikmah is not just related to charity, but it is actually related to every aspect of our lives. Because the one who has good knowledge, good understanding, then such a person is able to worship Allah better. Such a person is able to deal with people better. Such a person is able to make good use of their time, their resources, and they accomplish a lot of good. Which is why we learn that a person who has been given wisdom and then they use that wisdom, then such a person is truly worth envy. Meaning, such a person is enviable because they manage to do so much good. So we should seek wisdom from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And wisdom doesn't just come, out of nowhere. It doesn't just pop into a person's head. It comes with effort. It comes through experience. It comes from desire, that longing to do something good. So while we're making dua for wisdom, we should also, try to do as much good as we can. We should also seek knowledge and clarity and observe and reflect over our state, over how other people manage to do good. Learn from them and learn from your own weaknesses also. Through introspection, you see that, for example, at the end of a month, you check yourself that, I earned this much money. Where did it all go? If I spend a major chunk of it on just eating out, then that is very unwise. If I spent a major chunk of it on just, ordering random things, Amazon must-haves, then really that is a waste of my money. So check yourself that where is my money? Where are my resources going? So wisdom comes through experience, through introspection, through observation. And of course, it is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which a person receives when a person puts in effort. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَنفَقْتُم مِّن نَفَقَةٍ أَوْ نَذَرْتُم مِّن نَذْرٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ يَعْلَمُهُ وَمَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ مِنْ أَنصَارٍ. And whatever you spend of expenditures or make of vows, indeed Allah knows of it. And for the wrongdoers, there are no helpers. This shows us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows exactly where our money is going, because whatever you spend of expenditures, any expenditure that you make, meaning any payment that you make anywhere that your money goes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows it. Allah knows where our money is going and why it is going there. So for example, if we're just trying, new and different things, for example, these days, especially Amazon must-haves, everybody just has to try all those things. And why? Just so that we can make, we can take a photo and then put it on our social media that even I got such and such thing. Yani, what's the reason? Is it just to, impress people? Is it to just, keep up with the trends? Yani, Allah knows what we're spending and why we are spending. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ يَعْلَمُهُ. So be careful, because we are going to be held accountable with regards to our money. We will be asked, how did you earn your money and where did you spend it? Where did it go? On what causes did you spend? So we have to be responsible with our money. We cannot just say that, this money is mine, I earned it, so I can do whatever I want with it. We're going to be held responsible for where we spend it. And especially when it comes to charity, a charity that we give, then remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what we're giving, where we are giving, who we are giving to, why we are giving, what is the state of our heart. And remember that the charity that we give, that does not reach Allah. لَن يَنَالَ اللَّهَ لُحُومُهَا وَلَا دِمَاؤُهَا. It is not the flesh or the blood of the sacrifice that you make that reaches Allah. وَلَكِنْ يَنَالُهُ التَّقْوَى مِنْكُمْ. But what reaches Him is the taqwa from your hearts. The state of your heart is what matters. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَى صُوَرِكُمْ وَأَمْوَالِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَى قُلُوبِكُمْ وَأَعْمَالِكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at the state of your heart. That is what matters. So while the amount that we're giving in charity, yes, we want to make sure it's a significant amount, we also have to make sure that the state of our heart is good. And then nadhr is also mentioned over here. Vows are mentioned. What is a vow? A vow is basically when a person makes something that is not obligatory on themselves. Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not obligated us to do that particular deed, but a person says, you know what, I am going to do this. And why would they do it? There's three types of nadhr. The first type of nadhr is that which is mustahab, that which is good, where a person makes a voluntary deed obligatory on themselves. Why? So that they make sure that they are excelling in good deeds. So, for example, fasting 3 days every month is not necessary. It is not, it is not an obligation. Absolutely, it is recommended. Yes, it is from the Sunnah. Yes, it is extremely rewardable. But if a person does not fast 3 days every month, then they're not sinful. But if a person makes a promise, they say, by Allah, I am going to fast 3 days every month, then this is a way of making sure that you are actually fasting 3 days every month. Because otherwise, what happens is that, yes, we know we should be doing these things, but then we don't actually do them, right? We forget, we become lazy, we keep delaying. So, through a vow, what happens is that you commit yourself to doing good. And this is something good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praises such people in the Quran, يُوفُونَ بِالنَّذْرِ وَيَخَافُونَ يَوْمًا كَانَ شَرُّهُ مُسْتَطِيرًا, that they fulfill their vows. And these are the abrar, the people of paradise, those who are righteous. But then there's another kind of nadhr. And that kind of nadhr is makruh, it is disliked. Where, for example, a person tries to make a deal with Allah. That, Ya Allah, that for example, a person says, Ya Allah, I am unwell, I am sick, and I want to be better. So if you make me better, I am going to give $1,000 in charity. Okay. So this is a vow that a person makes, a promise that a person makes with Allah based on a certain condition. Okay. That, oh Allah, if you fulfill this condition, I will fulfill my promise. And this kind of a nadhr is actually disliked. Unfortunately, this is the most common amongst people, but it is very much disliked. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in need of your $1,000 donation. Allah is not in need of your voluntary prayers. You are in need of Allah. So you don't need to, as if make a deal with Allah, or, as if you're offering a bribe, astaghfirullah. What is written for you will happen for you. It will happen. A nadhr, a vow, does not change the decree. It does not bring anything quickly, nor does it delay anything. However, as we learn from hadith, it is just a means through which something is extracted from a stingy person. Meaning, you weren't going to give those $1,000 otherwise, but now that you're sick and you really want to be better, you make this promise with Allah, and as a result, you finally give that donation. So this kind of nadhr is disliked. And the third type of nadhr is that which is prohibited, where a person, for example, makes a vow that they're going to do something sinful. Like they say that I swear, I take an oath by Allah that I'm going to take this loan which is with riba. So these kind of course, oaths should not be fulfilled. But remember, what we learn over here is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the vows that you make, and then He knows whether or not you fulfill them. Because a lot of times it happens that when people are in difficulty, they make such commitments and promises, right? Or when they're seeking prosperity, they make such kind of promises with Allah. That, Ya Allah, if I get this job, then I am going to give 15% of my income, in charity every month, every paycheck, right? Or people make, commitments that, oh, if I get my passport, then I will travel for Hajj. Right? I will travel for Umrah. Ya Allah, I will do this, I will do that. And what happens? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses them from His favor, people forget about or completely ignore the promises that they once made with Allah. So it is said here, وَمَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ مِنْ أَنصَارٍ, the wrongdoers have no helpers whatsoever. So make sure that the promises that you make with Allah, you actually fulfill them. Then it is said, إِن تُبْدُوا الصَّدَقَاتِ فَنِعِمَّا هِي, if you disclose your charitable expenditures, meaning if you give sadaqah publicly, then that is excellent, they're good. وَإِن تُخْفُوهَا وَتُؤْتُوهَا الْفُقَرَاءَ فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. But if you conceal them and give them to the poor, that is better for you. وَيُكَفِّرْ عَنْكُم مِّن سَيِّئَاتِكُمْ, and He will remove from you some of your misdeeds. وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرٌ, and Allah with what you do is fully acquainted. So we see over here that further clarification is given with regards to charity, that it is permissible to give charity publicly and privately. Yani it's not necessary that a person always gives charity publicly, because privately, because that is not always possible. Sometimes, you are in the masjid, you want to put the donation in the box, but the masjid is full. So does that mean you don't give charity? No, you should. And why is it that someone would think that giving charity publicly is not good? Because then there is that feeling of, people are watching me, and you know what, they might think that I'm trying to impress them, or that I'm trying to show off. So no, if your intention is sincere, you remind yourself, this is only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not so that people see me, not so that people praise me. No, I am doing this for the sake of Allah. And even if that act of charity is public, it is seen by people, then that is excellent. فَنِعْمَهِ, it is good. And sometimes it's actually very beneficial, because when you give charity publicly, then what happens is that other people also remember that they should give charity. They're also encouraged. They're also reminded. So your doing a good deed privately is a means of, encouraging other people to do good. However, when it comes to giving charity to the poor, meaning you're giving money or food or something like that to a person in need, then it is better to give that in private. Why? To preserve your intention, and also to preserve the dignity of the poor. Because if you give them, money in front of everybody, that might be a source of embarrassment for them. Like, for example, you know that a sibling of yours is struggling financially, right? And the entire family is sitting over there, and you give them, $500. You say, oh, you know what? I found out that, you're struggling. So here, you can pay your, bills with this. And everybody is watching. The entire family is sitting there. It would be very embarrassing for your brother, for your sibling to receive that. But in certain cases, in certain situations, giving privately is better, and in other cases, giving publicly is better. But especially when you're giving to individuals, then it is best to give it privately. Why? In order to preserve their dignity and also your intention. And the benefit is, وَيُكَفِّرُ عَنْكُم مِّن سَيِّئَاتِكُم. This is so beautiful. When you give sadaqah secretly, this is a means of forgiveness. Wallahu bima ta'maluna khabir. How do we know? We learn in a hadith that 7 people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to grant them shade on the day of judgment, on the day when there will be no shade besides the shade which Allah gives. And one of them is a person who gives charity secretly, privately, so much so that his left hand doesn't know what his right hand gave. We also learn in a hadith that sadaqatu sirri tutfi'u ghadab al-rabb, that a secret, a private act of charity, it cools the anger of the Lord. Meaning, when you have done things to anger Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then when you give sadaqah in secret, in private, then this will be a means of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we see over here that while both ways are permissible, one is definitely better. But that should not be, a reason for you to hold back from giving, because you don't always have the chance to give sadaqah privately or secretly. It just becomes public because of the nature of that situation. But what this is encouraging us to do, Wallahu bima ta'maluna khabir. Allah, with whatever you do, is fully acquainted. This means that any charity we give, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows about it. So don't wait for that perfect time, for that perfect opportunity. Give whenever, whatever that you can. We learn about the Salaf that some of them, every single time that they left their home, they would take something with them in order to give to the poor. And sometimes they would find nothing in their home other than an onion. An onion, imagine. And even that they would take along with them and give to someone in need. So we should always have that intention to give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.